Jokic, elbow injury. What does this mean? How long will this linger? The Denver Nuggets, they lose 128-108 in Denver to the Houston Rockets off the back of a Jalen Green shooting masterclass, who's on a resurgence the last 20 games or so. The Denver Nuggets, they're in the chase for the 2 seed in the Western Conference. Will they be able to get there in the last 42 games of the year? You can tell one of us has a positive outlook, and the other one, this guy, thinks they're doomed. We're going to talk about all that and more here at Locked On.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is the place that you want to be. This is your host, Swiper, with one of his best friends in life, the very own Ryan Blackburn, a.k.a. Ryan Sharpburn, Michael Malone's right-hand man, and we are here to talk about your Denver Nuggets and the game that was played last night versus the Houston Rockets. We're also going to get into Nikola Jokic's injury to his elbow, what that could mean going forward. Jamal Murray has another good game yesterday. Michael Porter Jr., a disappearance act without Jokic on the court. Is that a trend, something to be concerned about? And we're going to talk about the chase for the 2 seed. All that at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, from the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. By the way, Locked On Nuggets has a free daily newsletter. Make sure y'all check that out. Ryan Blackburn and Matt Moore contribute to the letter every single day. What do? I like to contribute with good looks, a great beard, and facial structure. So, y'all, let's get into it. The Denver Nuggets, they lose last night, Ryan Blackburn, and I'm not going to lie to you. I actually thought that the Nuggets had a chance to win that game, but it just got away from them in the first quarter. Now, but hear me out. Hear me out. The Rockets have been known for their defense. Now, their offense in the last 15 games has been a lot better as of late, but I just expected that if they would have played with the same defensive intensity they did versus the Clippers without Jokic the other day, they actually could have been in this game. But what got me early on was the turnovers. I believe they had 8 turnovers in the first quarter. Oof. Russ had 4 of them, and 2 of them could have been attributed to him because of the passes that he threw ahead that hit off of Murray and hit off of Christian Brown. They just seemed discombobulated to start the game off. How did you feel about last night's game versus the Houston Rockets?
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when something like a Jokic absence surprises you as a team. The team actually talked about it last night too, post-game, and they're like, hey, it is kind of hard to adjust when you go through a game plan. You expect the best player in the world to be there, 3-time MVP, and then you suddenly are starting DeAndre Jordan. You don't have Aaron Gordon. There's a lot of pressure put on you, especially against a team like the Houston Rockets that puts a lot of ball pressure.
Yeah.
And I just think that they made bad decisions for the most part. I think Russ was a little bit too amped up. A lot of those turnovers were just horrible turnovers. And look, he's been so good for this team for this entire season that you get a pass when you don't play with Jokic. It's all right. You're on the second night of a back-to-back. The great thing for Denver is that they've built up so much credit on these second night of back-to-backs that they can lose one against the second best team in the West right now. So I wasn't surprised. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, and I didn't take much from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they could have been in better position, but the biggest issue is their defense. The Rockets had a 145 offensive rating at one point in yesterday's game. They were just getting whatever they wanted. I saw Jeff Green making turnarounds. Shout out to old man Jeff, but I was like, oh my gosh, this game is out of hand. But look, the game started off well, because DeAndre Jordan, I think he had 3 blocks in the first quarter and 2 on the same possession on Alperen Şengün. And I was like, man, I actually think that this is a game. Should they have good interior defense, they could make a run in. But again, you just didn't have the horses. Look, Jamal Murray, he actually had a good game last night, 8 of 14, I believe. He shot well from the 3-point line. He had 22 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds, basically on par with his numbers this year. How did you feel like he played last night?
Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. Just looking at the the game chart right now, the rotation chart. He didn't play in the fourth quarter at all, so he even could have like extended those numbers just a little bit more in a fourth quarter if the game was close. I thought he handled the pressure pretty well. He had 5 turnovers, and that's something that you can point to and say, hey, he had to play better. He didn't play well enough for Denver to win, but I think he played well enough for them to keep it close if everybody else kind of brought it. And I just don't think everybody did. It's very rare for Jamal to be the only guy to really bring it on the second night of a back-to-back, where we were kind of worried, hey, how's his knee going to hold up given how much he had just played against Dallas and how much like physicality and minutes that he had played against Dallas, going for 45 the night before. So it is encouraging to see Jamal string together 2 games back-to-back where, what he combined for 87 points? Or no, God, no, that's wrong. 67 points. That's a little bit more in line, but 67 points in 2 games is pretty good. Like if you can start getting that on a consistent basis from Jamal, you're going to, like, everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually encouraged by the last couple of games from Jamal. You know, he self-admitted. You know, we haven't had a chance to talk about this. You did a great solo show, as you always do, because you're Ryan Blackburn, you know, talking about this. But look, Jamal took accountability after that Dallas game. You know, Shaq called him out before the game and said, look, this team can win a championship. And he didn't leave room for it. He said this team will win another championship if Jamal Murray plays like we know he can play. And you saw him in that game versus Dallas give you 45 on great efficiency. I think 26 shots, I believe. And then yesterday, you get 22 points on 14 shots. So I think those kind of positive efficiency games mean a lot. And if you can continue to convert at a high enough level as a shot maker to put real pressure on the defense, and Jamal, one of the things he's doing well, he is reading the pick and roll like we know and love. Like Jamal Murray's ability to snake, find his target, get to mid-range, either hit that little fadeaway he likes to hit or get all the way down the paint and get a nice lay-in. But on top of that, his three-point shot is continued to go up and up as the year goes on. And what did you love about Jamal Murray? He is legitimately one of the most talented shooters in the league. And that's not even a question. And so with that, you want him to be able to force the issue more with the defense. And when Jamal does decide to fire it up, Ryan, he honestly becomes one of the most unstoppable guard scorers in the NBA.
Yeah, looking at his numbers over the course of this year, he's now up to 39.2% from 3. I continue to maintain that he has to take more of them. If the Nuggets are going to be the best version of themselves, he has to take more threes. He's taken 5.7 threes per game. Yeah. He's taking over 10 twos per game, which for a point guard is, and especially somebody that's as talented as he is from a 3-point perspective, that's crazy. That's a wild disparity. So if he can get that 3-point shot up, I really do think that they'll be okay. One guy who didn't get shots up yesterday was Michael Porter. We talked about it in the group chat for Locked On, and there was some back and forth before this game on the group chat about Michael Porter's value and comparing him to some different guys around the league. But I mean, the fact is that if Mike can't generate more than 4 shot attempts against a team like the Rockets, where he's got Dylan Brooks guarding him, like that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and I think it is pretty. It's referential on the playoffs and how physical that game is going to be, how much attention is going to be paid to him. He has to get up more shots, and the team has to be able to find a way to get up more shots. Jokic gets him more shots on a consistent basis. The fact that they had Russell Westbrook and Jamal Murray on the floor and still couldn't get him more than 4, that's crazy.
So I actually looked this up because I wanted to make sure I was accurate. So Porter in the last 3 seasons has played 17 games without Jokic. If you could guess what his overall numbers are, what do you think they are?
I would guess 14 points per game and probably 40% from the field, 30% from 3.
So Porter's averaging 15.6 points per game.
Okay.
6.4 rebounds, 1.7 assists. He's shooting 44% from the field, 27% from 3. And he's shooting 57% from the free throw line. And so that equates to a 50 true shooting. Ooh. And we'll talk about this more on the other side, but I think that's kind of where I am with it. That look on your face is kind of like Porter has immense value. Like if I just do last 3 seasons with Jokic, he's averaging 17.5, 6.4, but he's shooting 49, 42, 80 on a 62 true shooting. So that is a massive difference in efficiency. That's a 10% jump in true shooting.
Yeah, and of course, breaking news, people play
Right.
better with Jokic, of course, but like this is what his role is supposed to be for Denver. You have to elevate when Joker's out. You have to be able to create shots, of course. That's tough. That is a massive disparity.
Yeah. On the other side, we'll talk a little bit more about this. We're going to talk about Jokic's elbow injury and then what that could mean. If it's a story, if it's a non-story, Ryan Blackburn will give you his perspective. I'll give you my perspective, and we're going to talk about that more on Locked On Nuggets. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs. FanDuel has you covered. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, and I cannot wait on that game. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Now, when I found out SKIMS was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. Let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style for me. SKIMS changed all that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance for comfort and style. Now, I tried the SKIMS underwear. I'm telling y'all, it is amazing. The boxer briefs, I'm hooked. They are perfect for my active lifestyle. Y'all know I love being in the gym, love working out, got to get the guns going. The boxers, they move with me. They never lose their shape, and they stay in place all day, whether I'm working out or just running errands to your local Publix, Kroger, getting some groceries. They're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Now, shop SKIMS Men's at skims.com/LockedOnNBA and SKIMS stores. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. We'll be back for more here at Locked On Nuggets. What's going on, y'all? We are back here for Locked On Nuggets, brought to you by FanDuel and SKIMS. Get your nice set of underwear whenever you can. If you're listening to this on the Apple, iTunes, Spotify side, make sure you give us a 5-star review. That way more and more people can listen to the great content being made here at Locked On Nuggets. If you are watching this on YouTube, you see those two good-looking gentlemen on the screen? They want you to get 10,000 subscribers. You know what? There are over half of you that are listening to this that are not subscribed. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's right below. It's real easy. Not a lot of work for you. Does a lot of good things for us. We're getting to 10,000 subscribers by the end of this season. So, Ryan Blackburn, I'll let you go ahead and take a dive here first. So, do you think the cover to Michael Porter Jr. base, do you think it's an issue? Like, are you afraid, Don't Tell Santa Cruz has brought it up right here. Michael Porter Jr. had that 7-point game in the playoffs after a great first-round series versus the Lakers.
Sure.
Are you concerned that that's going to pop up and be another issue?
Yeah. I mean, of course. I think everybody should be not like outright concerned or fearful of something like that, but it's on the table. I think that Porter and just who he is fundamentally as a player, he is a specialist. He is somebody who can get to the rim at times when he's off of cuts, when teams aren't paying attention as much to him. but he's mostly a 3-point shooter, and he's mostly somebody who's going to be a jump shooter. And if you have a guy who can contest those shots, who can prevent those shots, who can make it so that he's uncomfortable, like Jaden McDaniels. Wow, Jaden Daniels. So shout out to the Washington Commanders. But if you have a guy like Jaden McDaniels, if you have a guy like Dylan Brooks, if you have a guy like Lou Dort or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it's going to be an issue for Denver in all likelihood. The question is how much of an issue and whether he can rise above that, whether he can continue to get better. I think he can. Like, he's still young enough and he's still malleable enough that I think he can adapt to those situations and be all right. We've already seen some marginal improvements across the board from him. The question is whether that's going to be a difference maker when it comes to winning a championship. And I don't know what the answer is there.
Yeah, Porter's played well versus OKC this year, actually. Slide this back over here. But yeah, Ryan, Nikola Jokic has a little bit of an issue with his elbow that cost him the game last night versus the Houston Rockets. This is his first game missed from injury. The Nuggets are now 2-4 this year without Jokic. Jokic missed 3 games because brought a brand new baby into the world. Shout out, baby. Shout out, welcome to Earth. Jokic then missed 2 games because of upper respiratory illness. And then Jokic just now missed his first game with an elbow injury. Any thoughts? Anything you've heard about that injury?
Nothing specifically. And I want to make sure that I'm not causing alarm here. What I do know.
Not causing what?
Not causing alarm.
Not causing alarm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What I do know is what.
Don't cause alarm, Ryan Blackburn.
You do.
We are not causing alarm here on Locked On Nuggets.
For those that are listening along, there's disco music. There's like flashing lights playing on Swipe a set right now. No, so I don't want to cause alarm. I want to make sure that I'm not like making things difficult and like making things bigger than it actually is. Michael Malone last night basically deferred to, I'll talk to the training staff about it. He hurt his elbow. It was something that happened in warm up, things like that. I think just at this point, we don't know enough to make an actual determination. The problem that you run into with that is that it leaves it open to interpretation. It leaves it open to a wide range of possibilities of what this issue could actually be and how severe it actually is. Given that Malone left that open, I kind of think that it's more likely that it's just a very minor thing, that it's an inflammation kind of thing where he just, again, like what Murray did, take some anti-inflammatories and then he's all good. But I don't know. Like, we just don't know. And the important thing of that is that it could be more. It could be more than just an inflamed elbow. Like that, I don't know what actually is the problem. And until we see the injury report and until we know and actually get an answer from somebody, then rampant speculation will occur.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short. I saw him messing with his elbow, I think in the Mavericks game live, but we'll find out. Like, elbow injuries could be as just little as nothing, and then they could also be something else. But, until we find out more, for me, there's just no reason for me to speculate. But I'll just trust that he'll be available next game. And if not, we'll find out more information, and we'll just kind of move from there. Ryan, you've been a big advocate of the Zach LaVine trade for MPJ to kind of finish up that little segment, just because of, some things even I'm concerned about. I think the positional versatility, people are saying the offense is already good. What did that do? Well, I think even yesterday, you got another player off the dribble, Brian, that can give you 30, 40 points a game, that can create for others and get to the rim and shoot his own 3-point shots. Do you still think that is a potential viable path for the Nuggets? I
don't think it's a bad idea. I think here is Zach LaVine's numbers on the season: 23.8 points, 4.9 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 51.6% from the field, 45.5% from 3. He attempts 7.1 threes per game in comparison to Michael Porter and Jamal Murray, who are attempting fewer than that. And just having somebody who can create his own shot, who can go off the dribble, who can do a lot of different things within your offense it is valuable in situations like this one, where you need a win. You need to find a way to win. And like, I know that LaVine's going to be able to generate some shots. And that's valuable in a situation like this. One thing, because it takes some pressure off of Murray, who is really getting double teamed for a lot of this game. So I think that there's at least some merit to it. Does it make Denver too small? Maybe. I don't know. But in terms of like the outrage that people had about that they could possibly look at Zach LaVine and trade Michael Porter, I don't understand where that outrage was coming from, because we're watching Zach LaVine put up crazy numbers right now. And I don't think it's like this massively crazy thing to speculate about.
Yeah, I mean, Zach LaVine, by the way, is on one of the worst space offenses you can probably imagine, and then with other ball handlers, and a 64 true shooting as a guard, and like that's outrageous. That's SGA level like efficiency, by the way.
Think about how tough of shots Jamal takes. Now make them tougher. That's what Zach LaVine's taking right now, and he's got a 64 true shooting. That's wild. And the fact that, like, can you imagine what he would be doing off of Jokic in these situations where the Nuggets need spacing, where they need somebody who can get downhill, and they need somebody who can play with some burst? Like, Jamal, for what he's shown, he looks better now, but there's still a difference between him looking better and where Zach LaVine is at right now from an athleticism standpoint, a downhill drive standpoint. It's just so different, man.
Yeah. On the other side, Swipe of the mindset that the Nuggets, they're in the running for the 2 seed. Ryan Blackburn, because he's an eternal skeptic. Maybe not so much. But on the other side, we're going to talk about this. Can the Denver Nuggets get to the 2 seed in the Western Conference? We'll talk about that more here at Locked On Nuggets. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%, plus you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhoodgold.com. Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18, 2024. Robinhood Financial, LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. We'll be right back for more here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the final segment of Locked On Nuggets with Ryan Blackburn and Swipa. We're here to talk about the Denver Nuggets and their chase for the number 2 seed in the NBA. So currently, everyone as it stands. The Denver Nuggets, they're currently slotted as the 4th seed in the Western Conference at 24-16. They have a 1.5 game advantage over the LA Clippers, who are 22-17. They are currently a game and a half back of the Memphis Grizzlies at 26-15. And then the Houston Rockets are currently 3.5 games up at 27-12. So not a huge difference in the games won. And then if you look at the total amount of games lost, which is the Matt Moore stat, how many games separate the loss column? The Rockets have 12 losses. The Nuggets have 16. The Grizzlies have 15 losses. The Nuggets have 16. What Matt Moore is famous about bringing up is that you can never make up losses. You can always make up wins. So far, the Denver Nuggets, they've had the 11th most difficult schedule. And so they've actually played a fairly decent schedule so far this year. So we'll see how it goes for them the rest of the year. I'll go ahead and say this, Ryan. 42 games. The Nuggets are probably going to continue to get healthier. Aaron Gordon's missed half the year. Jamal Murray hasn't been good for most of the year. Russell Westbrook took a while to figure out for the first, 10, 12 games. I actually think there's a high probability they end up at least the 3 seed, but I do think that the 4 seed is within the realm of a 2 seed is in the realm of possibility for them. And honestly, the Nuggets, they're currently sitting at 24. Did I say 24 and 16?
Yeah.
Would it be crazy? So they're 11 and 4, I believe, in their last 15 games, Ryan Blackburn. So please feel free to correct that. I think they're 11 and 4 in the last 15 games. So if they were to continue to go on the up and up, they're 10 and 5 in the last 15 games. Is it impossible to say that they could go 15 and 5 over the next 20, get to be about 39 and 20 or so, and put themselves in position to get the 2 seed?
It's not impossible. You look at the schedule and you look at some of the games that they've got coming up, especially over these next 10 or next 9. At Miami, at Orlando, we'll see whether they have Jokic or not. Then they come home and play Philly. I was talking about this in the media room last night. There is a world where Embiid shows up and plays in Denver, and Jokic isn't healthy for it. That's kind of a wild scenario that I was not expecting to ever happen.
Why is that a scenario?
Well, if Embiid comes back for that game,
the elbow injury,
he's not coming back.
Oh, you're speculating about the elbow injury. Oh, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So if let's say Jokic is out for a week, I don't know. It's very possible.
More speculation.
Yes, rampant speculation over here. Okay, we'll see what happens.
We'll see if Embiid is available. That's
Miami.
Yeah.
At Orlando, home versus Philly, home versus Sacramento. Then they go on a 5-game road trip. At Minnesota, at Chicago, at New York, at Philly again, and at Charlotte. The Charlotte game is not crazy, but it's at the end of a 5-game road trip, and those are always tough. So that's 9 games right there where Denver plays 7 of them on the road. That's a tough schedule. That's a really tough stretch. And if they don't have Jokic for a chunk of it, then it becomes that much tougher. You already said that they were 2 and 4 in their last 6. So, or not
without Jokic,
2 and 4 without Jokic. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So hypothetically, let's say they go 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and it already puts you behind the 8 ball for going 15 and 5 or whatever you want. So that's tough. And Denver's has to really match pace with a team like Houston, which Houston's been great, and they are so deep from a team standpoint that even if they miss 1 or 2 guys, they can Tari Eason didn't play yesterday. They've got other guys that didn't play. I think that they have plenty. I think they're probably going to win 53, 54 games. Mm-hmm. And so can Denver get to that place? I don't know. That's a lot to ask midway through the season.
Yeah, I mean, they did similar last year, obviously, after the All-Star break. I want to say they went 21-6. I can't remember what the exact record was.
Yeah, but it was bad. The fact that they did that was also one of the reasons why they gassed out. And everybody was like, okay, so you're going to rest, right? You're going to rest, right? No, we're going to push through. And that was clearly the wrong call.
Yeah, I've actually gone back and watched that multiple times now. I mean, the gas, to me, more choke feels more appropriate for Game 7. They were up 20. Michael Porter has 7 points. No one has more than 10 points outside of Jokic and Murray in that game. And I'm just just make a few layups, then the game's different. I do think that it's possible for them. I think they get to at least the 3 seed, Ryan. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable at that point because for me, it's more so about matchups.
Sure. Guess
who they're in position to play if they get the 2 seed this year in the first round?
Would it be the Los Angeles Lakers?
Yes. I would love a 3rd straight year of Lakers in the playoffs. That would be so fun.
It's not enjoyable for me anymore. It is fun to eliminate the Lakers. That's true. And Denver does have a psychological advantage over them. So that would definitely be a thing. But you're also Denver does have to work hard against them in order to defeat them. There are teams that they wouldn't have to work as hard against.
You got to work hard in the playoffs to beat someone. Well, Minnesota's at 7. are at 8. The Mavericks are at 7. The Lakers are at 6. The Kings are at 9. The Warriors are at 10. There's only one of those teams where it's probably more of a not a cakewalk, but an easier walk. And so that's the thing.
Yeah, the Warriors.
Yeah, the playoffs are a dogfight. You know what I mean? That's just what they are. They're in the Western Conference. You don't get the chance to play the Heat with no Jimmy Butler in the first round, and Bam Adebayo doing his darnest impression of Wilt Chamberlain. That's just not going to happen. You probably won't get to play the Cleveland Cavaliers with half the series without Donovan Mitchell and no Jarrett Allen. You probably won't play versus the Pacers with no Tyrese Halliburton. In the West, you got to play through a lot of guys. So I just think for me, I want them to get as high of a seed as possible to get the most advantageous matchup and to get home court advantage for as long as they can. But
and the other factor there is that OKC's the one. Like, you want to see if another team can take out OKC if you can. So if Denver gets a 2 or a 3 seed.
Ryan, you are the most non-competitive person I have ever seen.
That's not
true. Life.
Here's the thing. I want Denver to win a championship. And the best way for them to win a championship is to play the easiest path possible.
Who do you think could beat OKC that's below 4?
Dallas.
I don't know if Dallas stays down there, though. I mean, it would have to be like a whirlwind of a season.
Well, hypothetically, let's say Dallas gets the 5 and then they win against the 4 seed in the first round like they did last year with the Clippers.
Yeah.
And then
they would be on the other side, yeah.
OKC is going to be like, oh, crap. We have to face Luka and Kyrie again? Like, that would be tough for them. So now, OKC's a better team than they were last year, and they absolutely could, they could just walk through the West. I think there's a very strong possibility that they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could also just be demolished by Jokic, that is also on the table. But I tend to think that you want as many.
I would honestly love to see an OKC Nuggets matchup in the conference finals, like the coming up and then the resurgence. Because first off, if the Nuggets made the Western Conference final, I think a lot of people will be shocked outside of Denver at this point, But then also, I would
be shocked if they. Well, okay, not.
See, now this is what I'm saying, y'all. Ryan Blackburn. This is why we're both on the channel together, because I have to hold to truth and justice. Okay, I have to hold on to the spirit of joy and possibilities and wonder. You know what I mean? I have to keep an open eye towards the skies. I have to study the stars, astronomy. I have to look at all of the different things that are happening in the purview of the world. Ryan is just looking at his book and saying, but the numbers say it's likely not happening.
I mean, look, I want them to win as much as anybody else does. I want this resurgence for Jamal Murray. I want this resurgence for Michael Porter. I want Joker to get as many titles as he can possibly get. I don't see them winning against OKC, and that's fine. I think I can be wrong with that. I've been wrong several times. Cedric says, hey, no jinx over here. No jinx. That's who I am. That's what I do. So I tend to think I could be wrong on this, but I don't think I am. All these jinxes, I genuinely believe what I'm saying. And
so you're just more negative than you care to admit, but your negativity is now fed into, there's a jinx association to it. So you're actually negative, but your negative thoughts don't turn true all that often. Well, okay, I heard we're learning something. You're like Good Luck Chuck of negative vibes.
Ooh, all right. Good luck. That's a great one.
There you go. Good luck, Blackbird. Y'all, that's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. Number one, how do you feel about the way Michael Porter Jr. played last night? Are you hopeful about this new Jamal Murray that we're getting on the last 2 games? Do you think Nikola Jokic's elbow injury is something that will linger? Do you think the Denver Nuggets can get to the 2 seed? That's Ryan. This is Swiper, and we'll see you on the other side.